Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. Apologizing here for the delay in blogging. Took a little bit of a break from the big time work that we were doing last week with the little light snow that we got. Thursday, January 12th, recording this at about 9:30 in the morning. As I always have here on the Arkansas Weather Blog, we have a lot to talk about. The first things first. We're at 69 degrees now here in West Little Rock this early in the morning. Potential record high today of 77, set back in 2000. We are going to come close to that probably. Now, remember what happened back in 2000. So it's January the 12th right now. We set a record high. Later on that month of the 27th, we had almost 7 inches of snow. Not saying that's going to happen, but just know winter is not over. You can get, this is the January thaw. Everybody's going, well, this is crazy. I've never seen this before. I've seen those comments on social media. This happens. We get January thaws, and they can last 1 to 2 weeks. And I think that's the maximum this is going to last is 2 weeks, and maybe ending a little bit sooner than that. Winter is not done by a mile, by a long shot here. By the way, the warmest low temperature for today is 63 degrees. That was set back in 1912. Somewhere way back then. Anyway, so far our low today is 66 degrees, but the front's going to come through before midnight and will probably drop into the 50s, so that record won't probably be established because of the front coming through. But a lot to talk about in terms of rain, thunderstorms, the potential for heavy rain next week, and then I'm going to show you the turn to colder that I'm expecting. And to do all this, I'm going to use the GFS. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do that from weatherbell.com. You can't show the European off of weatherbell.com. They don't allow you to do that, which is fine. Those are the rules. So with all that said, without any further ado, let me just show you the error of the GFS, all right? It does not see Arctic air that well. Let me show you why. This is at noon. This is 2.5 hours from now, and the freezing line is in southern Kansas. It's 23 degrees in Oklahoma City right now with cold north winds blowing. How in the world are you going to get it above 32 degrees in 2.5 hours with a strong north wind and Arctic air coming in? So it's already missed. Front coming through the state. This is at noon Thursday. And when I take you through this, you see the freezing rain. As we thought, remember I said the areas last week in north and west of Arkansas look to get targeted, and that's going to be the case. However, this will probably be a little bit more extensive out here in Oklahoma and Missouri, as well as Kansas. So if you have any travel plans there, near the Missouri border in Arkansas, later tonight and tomorrow morning, there could be some light freezing rain, but it won't last long because temperatures should go above freezing. But we're going to have a cooler day Friday. Sorry, there's some blanks in the model data. I don't see a lot of rain until we get to next week. And that's what I want to show you here. The timing of this is going to be a little bit different, but we have a strong, very strong upper level storm system coming out. And here's the surface map on the GFS at noon Monday. And there are going to be showers and thunderstorms. Now, the atmosphere in front of it will be mild. The atmosphere of it in front of it will be loaded with moisture. So there's the potential for heavy rain, and the concern here, because of the time of the year, because vegetation is dormant, the potential here is to maximize runoff, which could enhance the flooding threat from the heavy rainfall. And I'll show you where I'm getting at with that. And the GFS and the European lining up with the highest chance for that heavy rainfall across northern and western Arkansas. So the surface low takes off, and that it stalls across the state Tuesday morning with waves of moisture. See this? I mean, each and every hour there's waves of moisture coming through, even into Wednesday, according to this, before a surface low finally forms on that boundary here in eastern and northeastern Arkansas Wednesday afternoon, and then it gets out of our hair. How much rain are we talking about here? Well, according to this, and if you see the scale, I'm not quite sure if you can see the scale or not, but according to the scale, there's the potential on the GFS in areas north and west of central Arkansas, northern and western Arkansas, to see anywhere from 4 to as much as 8 inches of rainfall. Will we see those extreme rain amounts? Well, this is in the long range, so that can change. But the European shows something similar to that with still significant but lesser amounts towards the east. Could that area change, you better believe it can change because it's in that long range. But when we look at, this is something I rarely ever show here on the blog, and let me fast forward this. All right, this, in fact, I've never shown this on the blog. This is called precipitable water anomalies. And what this is, if thunderstorms develop in this environment, they will be able to tap in to a very large amount of moisture throughout the column of the atmosphere, and they will be efficient rain producers. So this is the concern for the heavy rain. And you see an air, well, I'm sorry, I mess up these maps. Anyway, you see that in the purple, you're talking above 300% water anomalies, precipitable water anomalies, which is just loaded with moisture for this time of the year, which is the concern for some heavy rain. What about the severe concern? Well, let's look at the CAPE, the convective available potential energy. This is the gasoline that fuels thunderstorms. And yes, let me back this up a little bit. There's a little bit of CAPE, some instability. So there could be a few thunderstorms. The severe potential, not sold on that, but there's going to be some thunderstorms with this. So thunder in January, winter. I'm trying to come up with my Armenian folklore, make stuff up as I do half the time. So that's my transition to, okay, so we have mild and wet weather coming, but winter is not over by a long shot. Let's go to the GFS ensembles. I know there's a bunch of blue and red blobs, but there's actually a rhyme and reason to this. You see there's ridging out here near Alaska, okay? This red is ridging. These are anomalies at 500 millibars, and these are geopotential heights. But I just want you to see what the reds basically are telling you where the ridges are, the blues where the troughs are. So you see ridging. What you want for cold air to drain into the United States, you want to see ridging poking up through Alaska. You see all this stuff on social media, which it's laughable. It's colder in Arkansas than it is in Alaska. Well, that's because they sent their cold air south, and that's how it gets cold here in Arkansas every winter since the beginning of time. Well, maybe not since the beginning of time. But anyway, because the continents were together. Anyway, that's a whole different story. But yeah, the ridge goes up, the cold air leaves. And where does it go? It goes south. So that's what's happening here. But look at the change just this weekend. Now we got troughing here in Alaska. The ridge is gone. And you have troughing with that counterclockwise flow. So you're getting a very strong storm track, a very strong jet off the Pacific. So your source region of air is off the Pacific and not from the frozen tundra of Canada, the Arctic, and Alaska. So your air masses are different. So that's our January thaw we're in now, and that we're going. Now I say we're in our January thaw now. It's going to get cold tomorrow, but then it's going to rebound. So next week, that trough just sits there. All right, and it continues. So we're in a mild pattern. This is the 18th. Notice that what you see this over here. Watch how this ridge here starts to move towards the northwest in time. See that? So now we're towards, let me just back this up to day 14 here. So now we're at January 26th. No more trough. There's a ridge. And now we're looking at, a friend of mine just told me he broke his finger. Anyway, not good. It looks like the storm track is going to get active and is going to be shunted towards the south. So you have cold air going up into Canada. I'm sorry, a ridge going up into Canada, which means that we have to watch at that point towards the end of the month, the last week and a half of the month, we have to watch for the cold air making a return and an active storm track towards the south. I mean, it's right there. And this is the GFS. The European shows basically the same thing. Now, the other thing I like to look at, 5-day temperature averages at 2 meters. So you look at the front 5 days here. The first ones, you got mild. This is at 2 meters. The next 5 to 10 days, this is the 17th through the 22nd, very mild. Cold in Alaska. See that? These are temperature anomalies, so well below average temperatures in Alaska. Look how warm it is here. All right, let's go to the next 5 days. Now, look what's going on. Notice how it's getting colder west. Got the active storm track. Notice how it's not quite as cold. Whoa, this is the 11 to 16. Notice how it's starting to trend a little bit colder here in the mid-south and out towards the west. Now, those are 5 days. Those are in increments of 5 days. Look at the 1-day averages. So this is day 16. Milder in Alaska. See those anomalies? And look at that. Now, will it snow? That's impossible to know at this time. So there you have it. Lots of stuff going on. We have a cold return tomorrow, Friday, with maybe a little light icing north. We have to watch for the potential for a strong storm system beginning of next week with heavy rain and possible flooding, especially north and west of Little Rock. The timing and the location can change. Then we look towards the end of the month. We're talking about after the 22nd, 23rd for a transition to some colder weather. Snow, not going out on a limb on that just yet, but hey, it's January. And when Arctic air is in place, anything can happen. Thanks for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events.